All right, hello everybody. Sorry I couldn't be there today, but I'm going to start you off on Muscle System Notes Part 2. Luckily, this stuff is pretty straightforward, so please download your preference of note style, either fill in the blank or the full version, and follow along with me. All right, so this part of the unit, we're going to start learning the gross muscle anatomy. Gross in this case does not mean disgusting, it means large. So we're going to learn the major large superficial muscles of the body. All right, before we start learning the different muscles, I wanted to tell you that some of the different strategies that are used for naming muscles, these definitely aren't all of them, but these are some that we will be seeing. The first one is the direction in which the muscle fibers travel through the body. So you'll see rectus at times, which means straight. That means the fibers are running parallel to the midline of the body. Next, oblique is meaning diagonal, so the fibers run at a slant to the body. Shape of muscle is a lot of time used. Deltoid is delta means it's a triangular shaped Greek letter, so the deltoid muscle is triangular in shape. Also, another one that you'll see, orb means circular, and a couple of the face muscles we'll talk about today are named after that. Sometimes muscles are named after the action in which they do, like flexor, extensor, or adductor. Those are all movements that the muscle makes, and the muscles are named after them. Okay, sometimes muscles are named after where they originate and insert, in other words, which bone they start and end on. So my favorite muscle is sternocleidomastoid, and I really just like it because it's such a long name. But sterno refers to the sternum, cleido refers to the clavicle, and mastoid is a spot on the temporal bone. So those are the three locations in which it originates and inserts. All right, some muscles are named after the bone in which they are associated with. So the temporalis muscle is on the temporal bone. The frontalis muscle is on the frontal bone. Some muscles are named after the number of origins they have, like biceps means 2, triceps 3, quadricep has 4 heads. And then lastly, some muscles are named after their size. So maximus means large, minimus means small, and then longus means long. All right, there are some muscles that are known as the nickname muscles, and these are muscles that actually have a nickname associated with them, and it helps you understand the function of the muscle. So we're going to start by going through the nickname muscles. We're going to start with the frontalis, which is nicknamed the confusion muscle. The frontalis you're going to find on the forehead, and the reason why it's called the confusion muscle is because that's what allows you to furrow your brow, your forehead, in look of confusion. Next, you have orbicularis oculi. Orbicularis meaning circular, oculi referring to your eye. That nickname is the winking muscle, and that is the muscle located around your eye that allows you to wink and blink your eyelid shut. All right, next we have orbicularis oris, again circular, oris referring to the mouth. That is the circular muscle that's around the lips, and it's known as the kissing muscle because that's what allows you to protrude your lips out. All right, next we have the zygomaticus. This is nicknamed the smiling muscle because that is the one that pulls your lips out in a smile, and it's attached to the zygomatic bone or your cheekbone. All right, next we have the buccinator, which is known as the whistling muscle, which is just a little bit deep to the zygomaticus there. That is known as the whistling muscle because it allows you to pull your cheeks in as if you were whistling. All right, next we have the masseter muscle. That's known as the chewing muscle. That's the one that's going to allow you to lower and close your jaw when you're chewing. All right, and then lastly, another one on the face or neck, we have the sternocleidomastoid. And the sternocleidomastoid is known as the praying muscle because that's what allows you to bow your head or bring your chin to your chest as if somebody was praying. Okay, there are nickname muscles elsewhere in the body. We have the rectus abdominis. That's known as the six-pack muscle, and that is what would form the traditional six-pack muscle of people's body. So that's why it's known as the six-pack. Sartorius is another muscle that has a nickname. Sartorius is known as the tailor's muscle, and it's kind of a weird reason. Here's the sartorius on this picture over here. The sartorius, which is the longest muscle in the body, is nicknamed the tailor's muscle because in old time pictures of tailors are people who alter people's clothes, they were always sitting with their legs crossed, and the sartorius allows you to cross your legs. So that's why it's known as the tailor's muscle. All right, next we have the triceps brachii. Triceps brachii is on the back or posterior of the upper arm, and that's known as the boxer's muscle because that's what allows you to extend your arm out as if you're punching. All right, next up is the gastrocnemius. We commonly call that the calf. Its nickname is the toe dancer muscle, so it's down here on the posterior end of the lower leg. And it's nicknamed the toe dancer muscle because it's what allows you to do plantar flexion or point your toes like a ballet dancer. Okay, next we have the gluteus medius. That's nicknamed the love handles. It's located right over here on the posterior side of the body, lateral edge of the body. It's nicknamed love handles because that's typically where you would find, I'm using air quotes, but you can't see them, love handles. And then finally, I know you've heard this nickname before, the gluteus maximus is nicknamed the butt. All right, we're moving on to the muscles of the face and neck. We've actually talked about quite a few of these already because they have nicknames, but let's just refresh our memory. And also, I always will highlight the direction in which the muscle fibers travel, and I recommend you do the same with your pen and notability. Understanding the direction in which the fibers of a muscle travel will help you understand what that muscle does better, because if you picture those fibers getting shorter, it will help you understand the movement of the muscle. So let's start with frontalis. Frontalis is going to be right on your frontal bone. That is nicknamed the confusion muscle because when those fibers shorten, it will help you to raise your eyebrows and wrinkle your forehead. Okay, next we have orbicularis oculi. Remember, that's a circular muscle around your eye, nicknamed the winking muscle because it helps you to wink, squint, and blink. Next, we have orbicularis oris. That's the kissing muscle, which allows you to protrude your lips and close your mouth. Okay, next we have the zygomaticus, which is the smiling muscle. That is nicknamed the smiling muscle because it raises the corners of your mouth in a smile. All right, we have the buccinator. The buccinator helps to flatten your cheek. If you remember, buccal from our anatomy language terms also meant cheek. So that's nicknamed the whistling muscle because it helps to flatten your cheek as if you were whistling. All right, next we have the masseter, the chewing muscle that helps to close your jaw. Okay, this is a new one. This is the temporalis. The temporalis muscle is this fan-shaped muscle on the temporal bone. This one also helps to close the jaw. So this is known as a synergist to the masseter. A synergist is a helper muscle that assists in a movement. Next, we have the occipitalis muscle, which is right on the occipital bone. This one helps to pull your scalp posteriorly. Now, I've always had a hard time with this muscle because I don't exactly know what it means to pull your scalp posteriorly, but some of you can do it. It's almost like you're wiggling your ears, kind of. So give it a try. All right, next we have the platysma muscle. That is the muscle that pulls the corners of your mouth down. It actually covers the whole front of your neck, so it's a pretty large muscle here. I really think they should nickname the platysma the frowning muscle because it pulls the corners of your mouth down. Okay, and lastly, back to the sternocleidomastoid, which is nicknamed the praying muscle. Sternocleidomastoid, when it shortens, it helps to pull your head down, your chin to your chest in a praying position. All right, next time we'll watch these cadaver videos in class. I'm pretty sure if you click on the link, it won't show you the exact spot in the video that I want you to see, so it probably won't work. But if you just click through, you'll see just some really good cadaver videos. And like I said, we'll watch those when we do notes again. Okay, Now, at this point, it's a really great idea to do some individual Quizlet and practice the nickname muscles and the face muscles. And the face muscles do come with a diagram, so highly recommend it. You can find the links to Quizlet right here on this slide, and you can also find them in the yellow folder in Schoology. Thanks for listening.